Okay, so I think I have decided that I'm going to use this new garage as the motorcycle shop as opposed to the middle one, just because it's going to be so much more difficult to get things in and out of here, and because this garage, and let me go inside and kind of show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I have augmented this garage with some additional structure. So, as I mentioned in the last video about this garage, I was going to put up the 4x4s and the 2x6 across the front just like the other two, and I did do that, as you can see. And these are right in the ground, these 4x4 posts, and then I've got them tied to the side of the building with these little chunks of 2x4 that's screwed through from the metal roofing on the other side, and then attached to the 4x4, and then I've got the 2x6 across the top to make everything strong, and then this can eventually accept the doors once the zippers fail on this side of the garage here, on this flap. But I have made this quite a bit wider of an opening on this garage than the other two. So this is going to be a better garage to have the cement floor in case I do want to bring a vehicle in here other than a motorcycle and use a transmission jack or an engine lift, cherry picker engine lift or something like that. It'll give me the option to do that in this garage where I can do the entire cement floor and have a bigger opening so I can get a larger vehicle in here more easily, and I'll just have to deal with cutting the berm back a little bit to make it possible to pull in here with a vehicle. But the other thing I did in here, because I then decided to use this garage instead, I wanted to make this garage really strong, so I went ahead and I put the 4x4 posts and actually instead of this 2x6 on this side, I used a 2x4 on the back, and then I went ahead and tied it in to the side in the same manner. Now this is probably the strongest building I have out of the 3 Harbor Freight garages, and because it's got the support at the back and the front, and it has the wooden structure in the middle. The only other thing I think I might do is tie this wooden structure to this wooden structure and maybe the structure at the back, and that would give it a little bit more rigidity front to back. But we're actually really pretty strong here now, and side to side we are really strong. I probably don't need the straps from the corners on the ends, certainly not on the front. I can probably take that off and make it easier to get in and out. There's no reason to remove it from the back, so I'll probably leave that. But because this garage is so much more level than the other two, the ground here is so much more level, it's going to be a lot easier for me to get this leveled out and put cement here than it would have been on the other two. So I'm thinking this is the way to go. So, all right, that's the update on the garage. Let's go check out the bike. Okay, so we have got her out of the house. So I'm going to try to start it up and maybe take it for a short spin, maybe just around the property here, but we'll see how she handles the dirt road. Maybe I'll go a little further, but okay, so changed out that oil pressure gauge for this new nifty brass one. I wanted to put it up here, but well, I had some trouble getting that out, so I have to buy a tool. You can see it's been a little bit marred up by a previous mechanic, we'll say. And I made a little tool, but I made it out of aluminum. I'll show you what I made. Okay, so this is a little tool I made. See, I made it all squared off, and I could grab with a adjustable wrench, and then this part here that is meant to fit right into the slot there, and it does, but as soon as I try to put any pressure on it, it just pops out. And it's made out of aluminum, so it's just probably not hard enough material. So there's a tool for this, and I'm gonna have to order it, I guess, to get that out, because there's a little screen under there. that I need to check anyway, but that's where I wanted to put the oil pressure gauge, is right there, so that I could put the sending unit down there where the gauge is now, so that I could have both the light and the gauge. So, all right, but so I have the gauge at least. So the other thing I'd like to try to do is actually measure voltage on the battery and see if we've got good charging going on too. So when I get it started up, check the voltage, make sure we got oil pressure on this new gauge. Of course, I've verified that we have oil pressure with the external gauge. So I'm going to put the camera on the bike, and maybe you're going to come for a ride with me in a little bit here. Looks good in the sun though. All right, let's start it up. Let's see what happens. Fuel on. Okay, now clearly oil pressure gauge is working, no problem. Alright, now let's check the voltage. So now for sure we know she's pumping oil. Got good oil pressure. With the new gauge installed, it's still showing good pressure. A couple of things that need to be replaced here and there. I tested the lights. All three of these lights work. I tested it with the high beams on. You can flip the switches on the backs of both of these and they both come on. So that's cool. Voltage is up on the battery, so I know it's charging the battery as well. So it was 13.8 volts on the meter when I checked it, when it was running. Think I've got an intake leak, possibly. I don't imagine that the idle is up quite that high. I think that little O-ring, I had to reuse that crap O-ring because the O-ring that came with the rebuild kit was wrong. I've ordered the right rings, hopefully, the right O-rings for it. So that should be coming in next week, and I'll take that carburetor back off and replace that O-ring. But it seems a little, well, it's not consistent on the idle, so, and it also is spitting a little bit. So I'm thinking that needs to be replaced. So not surprised. It was in pretty bad shape when I took it off, but I had no choice but to reuse it or, try to cut a chunk out of that other one and try to fit it in there with some sealer or something. So I just reused the one that was in there. But it does run. It starts really easily, actually. Second or third kick at the most. And she's a little dusty, but she's pretty out here in the sun. Now that she'll start and run, I can get it out and put it in the garage. I still haven't taken, I'm going to take the line off, the return line off the bottom of the primary, make sure it's pumping oil out to the primary, but just that little bit. I did put some oil. There was no oil in the transmission at all. I put some oil in there. But yeah,